Hi, everyone. I'm Cynthia Blusek, Vice President of Success Engineering at Metabase, and welcome to our webinar. We're going to be discussing today Metabase for SaaS, how to automate growth and customer insights. We want to make this as interactive as possible, so feel free to chat with other attendees and share your ideas in the chat. If you have questions for our speaker, Candice, please post them in the Q&A section. And with me today is Candice Ren from 173 Tech. Candice, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you, Metabase, for having me today. I'm going to start my screen share, and we can go from there.
Great.
And it's just for 1 second. You might have a... There we go. So hi again. So I'm Candice. I'm the co-founder of 173 Tech. We help companies build modern analytics solutions to turn data into value. We've been using Metabase since 2019. Previously, I was the head of analytics at Bumble, a dating group. Some of you might have heard of it from day one until helping hundreds of millions of users find love on the platform, and its 3 billion exit in 5 years. If any of you want some dating tips later, give me a shout. Shall we get started, Cynthia?
Yep, let's do it.
Cool. So first of all, I want to take you through the customer journey. This is one of the great ways to map out the steps the customer go through, and most importantly, what data is there and how can you make the most out of it. So throughout today's session, I'm going to use this mock business called 173 Peeps. It is an HR platform targeting SMEs. So it's customer journey. So Emily, who is an agency owner, she's been spending a lot of time doing payrolls. She saw an ad on LinkedIn from 173 Pips, very interesting. She clicked on it, landed on the website, filled in her details, and downloaded a white paper on how to automate payrolls. At this point, the sales team picked up this lead, gave her a call, arranged a demo. Turned out is exactly what she needed. She signed a 1-year subscription, started using the platform. Given that she is an agency owner, the marketing team reached out back to her via email, sending her a promo about this new feature, which is timesheets tracking. Again, what she needed for her business, she upgraded her plan, continued to use the product, very happy throughout the year. And when it comes to renewal, she signed up again. So another year coming. So this is a quick example. In reality, your customer journey could be a bit more complicated, a lot more variations, but this is a good example to show you the different data touch points, the different data sources. As we can see here, we have the marketing channels, LinkedIn, you might have Facebook and other different channels. We have data collected throughout the platform, could be GA4 or your backend database. And then within the sales funnel, this could be Salesforce, or you might be using HubSpot. But this is your customer journey. And how can data help you? So 3 main areas. So improving collaboration among the teams. So previously we saw the marketing funnel, sales funnel, and the product funnel, helping you understand your customer better, and most importantly, getting you the most profitability. So I want to showcase a few data examples. Here, really sky is the limit, but just some few use cases to pique your interest. Some of you might have heard or already implementing marketing. So this is the process of integrating and aligning the goals between sales and marketing teams. So here, so for example, in the previous example, you can start creating cohorts. So if you have people dropping off at a demo stage, we can start automating lists for your marketing team to build targeted campaigns. And there's a lot of data signals that has been picked up during the marketing stages at the very beginning. For example, Emily, her biggest pain point is the time she spends on the payroll side of things. She's an agency owner, and here you can help your sales team to build automated scripts. So when they end up speaking with her, the conversation is much more tailored. So it would resonate a lot more and increases the chances of her progressing into the next stage. When it comes to profitability, it can help your customers. You understand the customers a lot better. So previously we upsold Emily because we knew she's an agency owner. Furthermore, you can integrate your cost components. So from here, you can understand better how different products or different cohorts of customers contribute to your overall profitability. And predicting churn. I know this is top of mind for a lot of your SaaS business out there. One of the key challenges we've seen is if you have a subscription model, typically it goes on for a year, and that's just a bit too late, when it comes to 12 months later to know whether someone churned or not. So typically you want to look for a churn signals, a much earlier churn signals. So that's typically when people start reducing the activity, they start using your product a lot less. They might log some complaints about certain features. From here on, the data can help you flag customer at risk. And once you have those customer at risk, you can layer that with other data points, or their profile information, the behavioral data, to help you tailor your prevention strategy at scale and also in the privacy-friendly way. So how do we get there? First of all, you need to visualize the data. And why Metabase in this area? So why we've been using it since 2019. So what we've found is quite easy. It's very easy to adopt by both technical and business users. I myself has used about over 20 different visualization tools in my career. I can say it took me the least amount of time to learn Metabase. We have this feedback quite consistently from our clients on the business user front. They found it quite easy to use. It's very cost effective. You scale linearly as you grow, and it's very easy to jumpstart. So if you are in your early stages, likelihood you don't yet have a full data stack, but your team is very data savvy, you want to be data driven, you spend a good time, good effort arranging your data collection. So here are some top use cases. If you have a master Google Sheet, you want to connect to BigQuery, and then that could pipe into Metabase directly. Or if you have backend database that is collecting all the important information for your application to run, this is a good example to connect directly to Metabase as well. I included a link for all the data sources you could connect. So when it comes to visualizing your data, we have 3 top tips here. So first of all, your data need to tell a story. Some of you might think data numbers, these are very dry, very boring. That couldn't be further from the truth. Data can help you paint a picture, provided you make it obvious and very easy for people to follow the story, follow what are the key things you're trying to highlight, what are the issues they need to pay attention to. And thirdly, make sure you look at the alerts functions. So this is where you have things that you want to brought to your attention immediately, so you can action on it. And Metabase has a really simple feature to get you started. I want to take you through a quick dashboard example. So here, we talked about 173 pips. So we simulated some data. This is a business has been operating. They had just over 1,000 leads so far, about a quarter converted to customers, just under 300 of them. So, going back to the story of telling a story, what do we want to do here? You want to start with your most important metrics, so what we typically call the North Star. So this is a quick health check. So am I meeting my target? How am I converting? How long am I taking to convert my leads? What are the values? What is the predicted value? And you want to make it interactive. So you want to have filters that drives all the different tiles. And once you have this top level, you want to start peeling the onion. So you want to get through the bottom of it. So as the sales team goes, you want to start thinking about your leads. What are the profiles that's coming in? So, different categories. So here we're broken down by different types of business. So you might be targeting 3 different cohorts: size, enterprise size, growth size, or startups. You're operating in 3 different countries, and we'll talk about the key USPs. So for you, this might be key features, but this is basically why people come to you in the first place. So Emily will fall into the payroll category. So I talked about interactivity. So make it as fun as possible. There is a click behavior in Metabase you can use. So basically, if I click on the enterprise, everything in this tile everything in this dashboard would update. You would update the category selection dynamically. If I click again, things will come back to everything. So you can do that with every tiles you have here. So you're having a look at your profiles, what type of leads that's coming in, and then you wanted to think about the quality of the leads that's coming in. So here we looked at the number of leads, but we are balancing it by the conversions and also the predicted LTVs, or how much money they're going to bring to you. And we also given a lead score. I'll talk a bit more about it in a bit. But here we look at the profile of the leads, how quality they are, and then you want to drill into some along the way the conversions. So what percentage signed by categories, for example, how is your sales funnel performing, where is it dropping off over time, is it improving, is it dropping, why? And then you probably want to break down a bit more how long it takes for each stage to close. This is very important because you want to close your leads and you want to close them in the minimum amount of time possible. It's always good to give a summary, so you can look at the lead cohorts, how are they performing over time. And then maybe you want to add a bit more sales-related performance. Am I hitting my goal? What is my sales trend? How is my sales composition? So this is just a quick example of how you formulate a sales dashboard. But keep in mind, every business is different. You want to talk with your team and think about how to formulate it in a way that helps them do their jobs very easily. And back to our points before, I want to take you through another use case, which is the ideal customer profile and lead scoring. So this is a concept many of you will be familiar with, ICP. So what do we recommend from a data perspective? First of all, you want to integrate all your data points or all the key ones that's important for you to get to your ICP. And you want to model those data in a very easily curable format. So everything we saw before is actually modeled off one lead table. Once you know your ICP, it could be rule-based, or maybe you have a data science model to help you segment leads dynamically. But what you want to do there is flag your ICPs within your database. So here you will give your sales team very good visibility on how and what they should do. Transforming data into insights. So previously we saw a little bit about metrics, for example, flagging the stages of a lead, flagging the time to conversion for each steps. So these are pre-calculated metrics. So you want to do this to minimize the effort of business users that need to do. So they can just come in, simply drag and drop, filter, and get to their answers. I call this one score that rules them all. So this is your lead score. So here you could build things. Again, it can be rule-based. It could be data science models here. What you want to do is to flag a number, so your sales and marketing team can easily rank the sales based on the importance to your business, and they can apply efforts accordingly. The next thing I want to talk about is relating to churn. So first of all, we always recommend, instead of looking at churn, look at the other side, the positive side of things, looking at improving retention. And here, one of the challenge companies have is when you're looking at subscriptions, for example, you have perhaps yearly or monthly plan. That makes it really difficult to look at retentions, especially on the subscription side. You have basically everything, one data point until 12 months, and you have 12 data points. So what you want to do here is to chop them up and go into a monthly status table, and then you can line up everything. So you can start looking at subscription retention, you can start looking at revenue retention, and then everything you can compare like for like, and you can have an overall summary statistics of the business holistically. And we talked about it briefly before. Activity drop is a good signal for churn. So, in addition to your subscription cohorts, you also wanted to look at activity retention. So here I have a quick example I wanted to show you. So here again, so heat map is a very common one that you probably all have seen and used. And here what you want to do is to, as I mentioned before, align your monthly and yearly plans. You might have quarterly, but the gist of it is all the same. You want to align them. And then you have all the different breakdowns you can use to start looking at how your cohorts are performing. And make sure you layer that with your activity retention. You can expand this, to by features, for example, how many people are using the features. So here is just a percentage retention, so it's whether people are coming back or not. You can start adding more quantitative metrics. For example, what is the monthly revenue people are contributing. On the activity side, you can start building activity scores that tie in all your different features and have a much more fully fleshed out view of your behavior of the users. Oh, apologies. So next, the next thing I wanted to mention as well is the alerts. So make sure you automate this. So I have a quick example here, which is high LTV customers at risk. The information highlighted, you can make it as comprehensive as you want, or if you want it just very quick and punchy, just the company name, churn risk, that's also fine. Here we're looking at a specific cohort. They are the high value customers for you. We highlighted, what category they are, what are the key USPs or the key features they're using, what is the value that is at risk, and then the churn score. So we are defining at risk to be more than 75% churn score. So you can have this list and you can automate that on a time interval. So it's quite easy to set up within Metabase. You go to a report and then you can switch on is the bottom right with a bell, and then you can set out going into an email or a Slack channel. It could be a Slack channel, for example, retention team. So you can tag the retention team, or you can send it to individual salesperson. And this is a very good way to prompt immediate attention and action. So if you have, for example, we build marketing alerts. If you have a list of campaigns that is off the chart bringing you like high quality users, then you need to scale them. Or you have another campaign report that gives you all the campaigns that is losing your money, then you want to send them to your marketing team and turn them off immediately. So this is a really good way to improve collaboration among teams and accountability. So people are aware what's happening, and then they can apply the action immediately. So some of you might be thinking right now, this is great, but my data is not quite there, or I've been growing a lot. My data is not quite at the state that I can do these things. So what should you do at this stage? So we talked about different components of a data stack already, but to achieve this sky is the limit objective, what you need is a modern analytics stack. So there are different components of it. We talked about G Sheet or your backend database, so they are a data source. We talked about funneling G Sheet data into BigQuery, so that's the data warehouse where your data goes into. This is where you're centralizing all your different data sources. And we have the reporting tool at Metabase. So what are you lacking? There are another components, so extraction tool. So as you grow, you have many, many different data sources. So we talked about G Sheet, we talked about backend database, HubSpot, Interable. but you will start having marketing channels, for example. So that could be a long list of things. What you want to do is have them extracted in your data warehouse automatically. And once data are in there, you want to model your data. So those are the data transformation steps. So connecting all the different data together, populating the same a single source of truth, but also adding all those calculations we talked about. For example, flagging the ICPs. Calculating the duration between different steps to help your reporting tool to really get to your insights really quickly. And one thing, so reverse ETL, so this is where we looked at the high LTV customers at risk list. There are something you can do from that point on. So let's say you build some really good list, your marketing team or sales team or retention team has a lot of ideas to build this list of users, and now you can start thinking about piping those lists automatically into your different platforms. That could be Salesforce, could be your website, to have a tailored experience. So this is a full circle from data coming in, merging it for insights, and having the insights back to your system for actionable strategies.
Great. Candice, we had a question that came in, and I'd love to get your perspective on it. The question was about should they use Metabase for modeling or purely as a visualization tool? I'd love to get. I know you have modeling here with DBT. Is that your experience that most people use an external tool for modeling, or what has been your experience been?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So Metabase has a modeling feature. It is really helpful if you are at the stage that you don't have all these other things. It's very good to have, but I would say it's good to have your model centralized within your data warehouse for a few reasons. One, your reporting for Metabase is meant for everyone. So for your business users, for you, it's mostly for your business, or it should be empowering everybody in the team. So you want to make it as easy as possible. I wouldn't expect all your business users to know SQL. And second of all, for the modeling within the warehouse is because you want this data modeled consistently and to support a lot of different things. Reporting is one, but you also want to, when you start having data science models, you want all these things pre-calculated. And, we talked about reverse ETL, all those lists that is built, you want it automatically going back from your data warehouse to your reverse ETL. And here you can version control. You can have, your team. So it's just a better way to organize the pipeline. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much.
No worries. So some of you might be thinking, okay, this is a lot of things to do. How would I get started? And I really want to get value really quickly. So first of all, prioritize. Make sure you don't try to do everything at once. It's very tempting to do so, but in doing so, it will take a long time for you to get value. So what we recommend is identify your low-hanging fruits, integrate your key data sources, and build iteratively from there on. Make sure you centralize and transform your data. So we talked about it, having all your data sources come in so you don't have data silos. And you also want to transform that data based on your unique business KPIs. Once you have all those data models within your data warehouse, for the reason we talked about before, and then you want to build easy to use dashboards. So here you want to have, we talked about the sales dashboard, but typically we will recommend starting with a master dashboard. So that's the health of the complete business, and then you drill down into each team. So you might have a sales dash, you want to have a marketing dash. You might, as you grow, you might have different product feature dash. So looking at the different feature performances and all that. The idea being make it super easy for all your team to start using, to start making the most out of the reporting tool. So you want to monitor the impact of their work. You want to explore where is the opportunities. You want to analyze further of the data. You want to make use of all the interactivity that Metabase is building and set up alerts. And reverse ETL, we talked about it before. So here, you can have, a lot of feedbacks from your team. Once they, get a good understanding of the data, of the usage of the customers, they started building different use cases, different scenarios. For example, people high risk of churn, or people are likely to upgrade, all those things. Then you can start having addition to your pipeline to send this list automatically into your different system, into your HubSpot, for example, into Interable for a CRM campaign, or into your website for tailored user experience. So that's the content from me. I can take you through a bit more details of everything, and I welcome questions.
Yeah, so there's a lot of excitement about the cohort dashboard that you showed, and wanting to understand the steps that you did to make that.
Yeah, I thought that would be a question, and I have the answer here. So no, this is a churn risk. So so in terms of the subscription retention, I talked about quickly how you should chop things up. So here is an example. So you want to, when you have raw data coming in, you have one line. So this user ID, 2AE, blah, blah, blah. He or she or this company signed up for a yearly plan. The start and end date. That's about it. So this plan is, I think, $500 for a year. So what you want to do here is start building. So this table we've transformed is called a subscription status monthly. You can have as frequent as you want. Some business will prefer it daily, weekly, quarterly, but as a monthly table, what you want to do is start having a monthly record, and you want to start integrating a lot of other things. So typically, so for example, in the case of Emily, she upgraded. So as soon as she upgrade, you want to timestamp it. You want to flag it. The reason you flag it is you can start aggregating really easily to tell me, okay, on a monthly level, how many users are upgraded. Same for downgraded. So this particular user, let me talk you through their journey. So they sign up for a yearly plan. At that moment, your data transformation chopped it up into 12 pieces. So we know on the 12 months coming up, this is the monthly revenue you're anticipating. And this user in March, sorry, my mistake. So in the August month, she decided this month she's going to upgrade, and she informed you on the 4th of August. It took effect in the month of the 15th of August. So you have all this information captured. And then, in November, she decided, okay, it's a bit too expensive, or is a feature I no longer need. She downgraded backwards. And then again, you have a timestamp. So they downgraded on the November the November 3rd, which took effect of the month of November 15th. And then following, her subscription expired on the 14th of March. At that point, she decided, you know what, I'm going to go on the monthly. This year has been uncertain. I want a monthly plan instead. And here you want to flag, okay, she changed her plan. And then from this point on, she's going to be paying $50 a month on a monthly level. And this is where and how you can aggregate. So this is an example of one user. Once you have all those users, then you can aggregate into this form.
Great, thanks, Candice. Another question that we've received is, what steps do you take to ensure that everyone in the business knows what data they can find where, and scope and definition and metrics are clear?
Yeah, let me stop my screen so I can see everyone. So the question is how we can ensure the metrics is aligned with the business goal.
Yeah, and that everyone knows how to get to the data and where to find that data.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so what we recommend is always starting with a data dictionary. So for every project, what we do is back to the point, prioritizing. So we've seen a company trying to do everything at once. That just takes too long. People get fed up halfway, perhaps. So what you want to do is start with your core things. So typically we recommend starting with the North Star, back to what we talked about, starting with your core data source. So that could be your backend database, it could be your HubSpot, and then you start aligning. So first of all, what is your business objective? So that it could be growing 10 million ARR, and then you have that. So you have naturally your North Star, which is your ARR, and you start peeling that. So what contribute to an ARR? And then you start building it, so it could be how many new users, how are existing users retaining, how they're using the products or engagement metrics, retention metrics. You might want to tie in marketing metrics in terms of profitability. And once you have that data dictionary, you want to make sure everyone is aware, where it is, how to get to it, and you want to make sure everything is properly defined, no ambiguity. So this is a process that's really important. It should start before you start your data project. You should start before your data modeling, you should start before your visualization, you get your data dictionary right. And once you do that, you wireframe your master dashboard based on the definition you have previously done. And then that will become, so some our clients like to link it. So we have the sales dashboard, you link it to the data dictionary. That's really good practice, so everyone can click in. Metabase also have a really good feature, the info. So on every chart, you can also copy paste your data dictionary or the link to the data dictionary. So make sure people know what they mean. This really helps them adopt. You don't want ambiguity in your data. You don't want error. You don't want ambiguity. You want everything to be black and white and accurate. And that's how you achieve it.
Sorry, just talking on mute. Another question that we received is, what kind of training do you suggest for end users to take Metabase into their hands?
It is so easy to use. That's the thing. What we typically see is if you have a data team internal that's building a dashboard, take people through. So the training is good when you have a dashboard in place already. So make sure you build a use case. So a master dashboard, for example, or leadership dashboard, some call it. Take people through it. Take people through the key things, how to use filters, how to drill from one report to another, how to manipulate an existing report. So we typically found like a half an hour to take everybody through. It's very helpful. And from that point, tell people you can't break anything, make sure they don't have admin access. So just let them have a go, have them play. Metabase has a really good guide. I actually learned it myself through the Metabase online guide. So that's a really good resource to go, and make sure the team is available. So if anyone wants to drop in, so we used to run, we call it data surgery. So it's like a 1 hour session, like you can just drop in, ask any questions, and yeah, that should be all you need. It's a really simple tool to pick up. So
great. Yeah, we do have training material available at metabase.com/learn, and all of the exercises are written using our sample data, so you can always follow along and get to see that. So there's a question about how long before Metabase supports multi-database joins. I can tell you we're not working on it right now, but all of our roadmap is available at metabase.com/roadmap. So you can always see what we're working on, what we're thinking about for the future. If there's particular features or issues that you're really passionate about, feel free to give them a thumbs up on GitHub as well, because we do take all of that information into our thought-making process around what we're going to work on next.
That's another great point about modeling. So that's the other thing. If you have different data sources, you do need to model in your data warehouse. Yeah. Great. And then relieve Metabase of that pressure. Sorry.
Yeah. No, this is perfect. Thank you. Another question was about, can the reverse ETL push from Metabase, or does this need to come from the model in a data warehouse?
It needs to come from the data warehouse. Oh, sorry, is there more of the question?
Oh, no, that was the whole question. So sorry. Yes.
Yeah, it needs to come from the data warehouse. There's tools out there that help you do that. Feel free to reach out to me. I can send you some recommendations.
Great. Well, I think we've gone through all of the questions today. Thank you so much for your time, Candice. This was super helpful and informative. I'm excited to go try some of the things that you suggested back in our own internal Metabase instance, because we do use Metabase, of course, internally as well. And thank you so much for your time today. It's much appreciated.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me. Right. And feel free to reach out if you need anything.
Oh, yes. Thanks so much.
Great.